How are you responding to this recall effort, and how seriously are you taking this?
Well, I'm responding with optimism. I believe that the community who elected me here in Port Washington bought into the vision that we had created as a council and developed in our strategic plan. And we have literally done everything that we said we were going to do, and we've communicated all of that. And I believe that the community as a whole understands that. Frankly, I think they were a little surprised that we were able to do it. A major industrial development and remodeling of a significant amount of our infrastructure. And we've been able to move very swiftly because there's a lot of energy around, making sure that Port Washington will be sustainable for the future.
The group that's attempting to recall you says that you ignored concerns and sidelined voices regarding the new data center. How do you respond to that?
That's just not true. We have our own website as a city, and I would challenge any community around the country to see if they have communicated as transparently as we have. There's a difference between, transparency and, paying attention too late. And we have been talking about this project for well over a year. And after social media influencers stepped into the arena, it charged the general community in southeastern Wisconsin, and suddenly we began to deal with people from all over the state. The group even organizing the recall here in Port Washington, their nonprofit is not even centered in our city, and the political parties supporting them are not parties that we've worked with in a bipartisan manner to support legislation to help Port Washington and allow us to grow.
And you mentioned some of the outside factors who are kind of addressing the issues there in Port Washington. And when it comes to the recall, these are signatures that are going to have to come from Port Washington residents.
Correct. So, I do want to acknowledge there are people in Port Washington who are frustrated. Change is not something that comes easy to any Midwestern community. But one of the great things about our community is that through change processes, once we understand what's going on, we begin to accept what it is and then work within the new parameters. So the people from Port Washington will have the opportunity to decide what they would like to do with the position for mayor. And, I'm going to continue my commitment, work hard for our city through the entire process.
Do you have any regrets with how you've handled everything with this data center project when it comes to the transparency and the communication with the community?
Oh, I mean, every meeting we place on the chairs, the FAQs from the last meeting, the questions that have been asked, we have worked diligently to design, we have the most restrictive zoning code for a data center, I believe, in the country. We listened to everyone. We worked with the developer to ensure that needs were met, everything from lighting to ensure our friends at Harrington Beach, who are stargazers, would not be impacted. And most importantly, berming and environmental considerations. We put in place a developers agreement and a TID that will support our infrastructure for our city for the next 50 years. And many issues that have been deferred for too long are being addressed. My only regret in the entire process is we weren't able to do this sooner so that the city of Port Washington didn't benefit, because everyone from our schools to our county to our system to our state is going to grow.
A few weeks ago, we saw those arrests during a public meeting over this issue. Was that necessary?
Again, that was a police matter in our chambers. And, looking back and watching the video, I would just ask that people, when they have interactions with law enforcement, comply with the directives. We had multiple meetings prior to that, and we had followed the exact same process every single time. If people disrupted the meetings, our police officers would just ask, can you please keep it down? If they did not, they would ask them to step in the hallway. And there was 100% compliance until that moment. And those individuals were wearing microphones and had their own camera crews there. And I questioned their motives.
Were they Port Washington residents?
They were, yes.
Bring us up to speed on where we stand with this data center right now. Construction already underway?
Yes. Oh, yes. There are hundreds of people working just north of the traditional city of Port Washington in the new city of Port Washington, earth being moved, and that project is well underway. It's pretty interesting to go out there. It's very exciting to see the impact of the contractors and the local laborers on our community already, spending money, supporting, moving to our community from all over the country. And it's really helping diversify a beautiful city already.
Port Washington Mayor Ted Neitzke, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Be well.